be playing this whole thing in the key of A, which means our 1 chord will be an A7, our 4 chord will be an E7, and our 5 chord will be a D7. Now, by the way, I know that my A's and E's can sometimes sound similar because of my broad Scottish accent, so I do apologise if I confuse anybody, or if you just don't understand a thing that I'm saying. Hopefully my guitar does the talking for me. Yes, we've got an A, an E, and a D. Now, we're going to be playing 2 rounds of a 12-bar blues, alright? Which means we're using 2 different templates, so you've got more variety. You've got different chord shapes and different scales that you'll be able to play. So this is going to be a lot of fun, and I hope you get a lot out of this. The first round of 12-bar blues, we're going to be using some shuffle format. We're going to use open chords as well. And we're also going to use the A major pentatonic scale. Now, the trick is here, we're only going to use the A major pentatonic scale over the A chord. Alright, we're not going to use it over any of the other chords. We're either going to be playing rhythm or the shuffle. And what happens is the A pentatonic scale sounds really good over the A chord. We can still hear that A playing. And then when we transition into a D or an E, we really hear that chord change. So it just works really, really well. And that's the trick for the first 12 bars anyway. So let's look at the first 4 bars. Alright, so for the first 8 bars, right, we've got an A, a D, an A, an A, a D, and then 2 bars in A again, right? That's the first 8 bars. We're only going to play a lick on 2 portions of that, on 2 portions of the A chord. So we're going to use the 3rd and 4th bar to play a lick, and we're going to use the 6th and 8th bar to play a lick. And then in the other chords, we're just going to be playing the rhythm. We're going to be playing the shuffle. Alright, so for the first 2 bars, it's going to sound something like this. Something nice and simple, as long as you've got that count of 4 going on your head. 1, a 2, a 3, a 4. Now we can add in some extra notes to make that a little bit more spicy, if you want. On the open strings, we can add in anything from 0, 3, 4. Alright, first 2 bars, and then into your A. And then something from the pentatonic scale. Doesn't need to be anything crazy, just something simple. Alright, and again I've got that count of 4 going on in my head, right? I've counted 2 bars there. That eventually just happens with your ear, alright? So don't focus too much on the counting, just rely on your intuition. It's time to change bar. Okay, so that's the first 4 bars, and then I'm going to get back in to the D. Now, I always try and set myself up from the lick. To get in that open E, that open D string, alright? For 4 bars. So 2 bars. Alright, and then back into my A for another 2 bars. Okay, and again what I've done here is I've counted the 2 bars, I've climbed up the pentatonic scale and landed on the open E note, because the next 4 bars are going to go E, D, or E7, D7, and then A7, or I'm going to do my turnaround there, I'm going to show you that, and finish off in an E7. Okay, so for the first, the last 4 bars, alright, so again I played my E7, D7, and then for this a turnaround is like an ascending turnaround into the E7 chord. 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and E7. Okay, and I'm just using this B7 shape here on the 7th fret. Alright, so let's just recap those 12 bars, alright? So we start off with the shuffle. Again, landing on the E. that's the first 12 bars. So for the next round of 12 bar blues, we're going to be using the same chords, but different shapes, alright? So the A7, we're going to be using our E7 shape bar chord on the 5th fret. For our D, we're going to be using the B7 shape on the 5th fret. And for our E7, the same shape on the 7th fret. Now, we're going to be using the minor pentatonic scale for this, okay? So we used the major before, and the difference is it's the same shape, but the root note is on the 2 on the G for the A major. That gives me that real major sound. But it's on 7 on the D here, which gives me that real minor sound. Without overcomplicating things, alright? So, the first 4 bars are going to go lick, 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 lick. That's right. Lick, 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 lick. But we're going to stab down on the A chord for the first bar and the 3rd bar. And it's going to give us that that effect, you know, when you get into a new verse of a song. Where you've got a singer and there's just a stab of a chord. Alright, and that's going to bring us into our D chord. So what I'm doing here, I'm stabbing down on that A7 and I'm just playing a soulful lick. And what I'm doing here is I'm bending up in that G in the 7 and landing on the C note here, right? A nice open note, which makes it sound like I'm asking a question rather than resolving right away. Okay, that's a little trick about call and response. So if you want to ask a question, finish on another note, alright? Or one that just sounds good. And you want to resolve, you bring it back to the root. Okay, so. And then for the next lick, I like to do something similar, but add something higher, alright, to give a more impactful effect. Alright, pretty much the same lick, except I added this note here in from the 8 on the B. And then I'm going to climb up till I get to my D, alright? And I can go right into that D7. And that's the first 4 bars. So for the D, I'm just going to strum for 2 bars. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Back into the A. And what I'm going to do this time is I'm going to do a little double stop lick. And then climb into the E7. Again, what I'm doing here is taking the extension of that pentatonic scale. I'm taking my 3rd finger, my middle finger, up to 9 and 8 in the G and B. Alright, so. Alright, I come back. And just climb up, and honestly God, I don't really think too much about the notes that I'm hitting here. The lick's probably different every time. The more important thing is the timing. Alright, so for the last 4 bars, we're going to do E, D, and then instead of a turnaround, we're going to do a lick. And then finish off in E. Alright, so again for the D or the E and the D, we can just strum those. We can also go down chromatically. And then a lick that brings us up the scale and into this note here. Alright, and again, you can kind of figure out your own thing. I like to do this very popular lick. You bend the G note up, bottom 2 notes of the scale on 5, and then pull off from 8 to 5. and then just find a way to climb up. So this lesson really wasn't to give you something to copy and to play. Again, it's a template. That's why I didn't dive too much into the licks that I'm doing and things like that, because I really want you to figure that stuff out for yourself. Come up with your own licks, listen to your ear. If you like what I'm playing, try and emulate it yourself, and maybe come up with something a little bit different, or maybe even better, that sounds better to you. That is the real way that you progress, you can get better. So again, thanks very much for joining me. Take it easy, and I'll see you soon with a new lesson.